Whenever you pull an ice-cold can of soda from the fridge or grab a drink at a barbecue, you have probably felt that smooth, hollow bowl curving upward into the bottom. It is one of those tiny details we touch all the time without giving it a second thought. Most people assume it is just there so cans can stack on top of each other, or maybe to trick us into getting slightly less soda. In reality, that concave dome is one of the most brilliant pieces of mechanical engineering in your entire kitchen. The walls of a modern aluminum soda can are astonishingly thin, barely thicker than a single sheet of paper. Yet inside that fragile shell sits carbonated liquid pressurized like a car tire. Without that clever little dimple on the bottom, an ordinary soda can could not even stand upright on a flat table. The base would balloon outward, the can would wobble and fall over, and the entire thing could violently burst before you ever popped the tab. The problem comes down to the carbon dioxide dissolved in the drink. That gas continuously escapes the liquid, pushing outward against the surrounding aluminum walls. At room temperature, an unopened soda can sits under 30 to 50 pounds per square inch of pressure, roughly double the air pressure of a car tire. On a hot summer afternoon, or inside a car trunk reaching over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, that pressure can spike to 70 or 80 pounds per square inch. Meanwhile, the sidewalls of the can are barely 4/1000ths of an inch thick, which is thinner than a page in a magazine. That leaves a fragile sheet of metal you can easily crush with your bare hands to hold back intense outward force. From a physics standpoint, the ideal container for holding pressurized gas is a sphere. In a sphere, internal pressure spreads out evenly across the entire surface, preventing stress from building up in any single spot. That is why heavy industrial propane tanks are rounded, but a spherical soda container makes no sense for grocery store shelves. Spheres roll off tables, waste valuable space in cardboard shipping boxes, and cannot stack neatly. Beverage makers needed a cylinder, which packs and stacks efficiently, but flat cylindrical surfaces handle internal pressure poorly. When pressurized gas pushes against a flat bottom, it concentrates heavy bending stress right in the center. The outward force flexes the flat metal until it balloons into a rounded bubble. The moment that bulge drops past the outer rim, the can loses its footing. It rocks on that single high point, tips over, and dumps liquid across the table. Early can makers solved this by making the base thick and heavy, but that wasted expensive metal and drove up shipping weight. The real breakthrough came when packaging engineers took an architectural dome and turned it upside down. In stone bridges and cathedral arches, an upward curve supports heavy weight by channeling downward loads into compression, squeezing the stones together, and directing the force into solid outer supports. The dimple on a soda can works the exact same way in reverse. When pressurized gas pushes outward against that inward curve, it tries to flatten the arch, squeezing the aluminum against itself instead of pulling it apart in tension. That geometry channels all of the outward force straight into the thick standing rim along the outer edge. Because aluminum is strong under compression, a base only a fraction of an inch thick can withstand immense pressure without deforming. Developing this shape took decades of packaging evolution. In the 1930s, canned drinks used 3 separate pieces of heavy tin-plated steel, with a rolled body and flat lids soldered on both ends. They were so rigid that consumers had to pierce them with a sharp metal punch just to get a drink. By the 1960s, companies wanted lightweight aluminum to eliminate that metallic taste and cut freight costs. Manufacturers solved the manufacturing challenge with the 2-piece drawn and ironed method. High-speed machines punch a flat aluminum disc into a shallow cup, iron the metal upward into a seamless cylinder with ultra-thin walls, and press the inward dome into the base in a single mechanical stroke. Beyond keeping the can upright, that inverted dome serves as a built-in safety valve. If a can sits in extreme heat or takes a hard impact, internal pressure can surge past 90 or 100 pounds per square inch. If the sidewalls tore open, the can would rupture violently and send metal fragments flying. To prevent that, engineers designed the bottom dome to yield first. When pressure hits dangerous levels, the dome suddenly snaps outward into a convex bubble with a loud pop. That sudden expansion adds extra space inside the container, dropping internal pressure and protecting the sidewalls. The can will no longer sit flat, but it stays intact and avoids a dangerous blowout. Every fraction of an inch in that base is tuned to save material. With more than 300 billion beverage cans produced globally each year, saving even a tiny sliver of aluminum creates massive financial savings. In the 1970s, a 12-ounce aluminum can weighed about 7/10ths of an ounce. Today, refined dome geometry and thinner walls have dropped that weight to under half an ounce. That same efficiency explains why the top of the can tapers inward. The lid requires a stiffer alloy, so the pull tab opens cleanly. By tapering the neck inward by 20%, manufacturers use a smaller lid, keeping the heavier metal only where it is strictly required. What looks like a simple decorative hollow is actually a masterclass in structural engineering. That single inward dome balances architectural physics, automated manufacturing, and built-in safety into a container you can hold in your hand. If you enjoyed learning how everyday engineering works, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the hidden design of our modern world.